Chapter 965. The lady boss of 100 Fragrances House blushed when she heard King Jianghu call her sister-in-law. She couldn't help but chuckle at him. I'm here to bring you 2 pots of good wine. Although the wine is good, don't drink too much. The lady stepped forward and sat beside King Jianghu. She poured a cup for him and another for herself. After chatting for a while, she looked at Lu Yi and said, I've seen this young man before. King Jianghu, is he your new team member? King Jianghu sighed. I would like to, but he's not. He's Wuxia from Jade Blood Sect. He's now serving in the law enforcement hall and is valued by the chief. He's already the captain. Such a young captain. The lady exclaimed, heroes come from the young. You're flattering me. Lu Yi said humbly. The lady raised her cup. I'm Chen Manzi. Please take care of me in the future. He's one of us. It's only right. Lu Yi smiled. Chen Manzi toasted Lu Yi and drank a cup with the others. Her face was not red and she was not out of breath. Only then did she open her mouth. There are still some matters in the front hall, so I won't stay any longer. If you need anything, just let me know. Sister-in-law, go ahead. Xiao Ruyun said. King Gengwu also said, go. It was as if he was the master of the house. After Chen Manzi left, Xiao Ruyun said, Captain, when are you going to marry sister-in-law? It's not good for her to always show her face here. King Jianghu smiled bitterly. Of course I want to, but she has her own plans. Some things can't be forced. Let's not talk about this. Let's drink. Drinking was good. Most of the people with spiritual energy didn't have that kind of experience. It wasn't until evening that everyone dispersed and returned to their own courtyards. Xiao Xinghe immediately greeted him. Captain, he's back? Is he okay? No, he hasn't come back yet. Do you think he's okay? What a faint smell of alcohol. Did he go drinking? No, don't talk nonsense. Xiao Ruyun turned around and looked. Is your 8th senior back? No, I should be with Master Tang. Well, you have to cultivate for a while. I'll inform you if there's nothing. Wang Xiongxia replied obediently. Spiritual energy retreated into the room in the middle of the room, activating various restrictions. The Martial King activated his spiritual energy to dispel his drunkenness. He flashed out of Hu Po's body and obediently sat to the side, waiting to cultivate together. Next time, he used his spiritual energy to exchange for 70 golden spiritual beads from the War Merit Pavilion. He had only used a few and didn't have much left. Zaya shooting app there were less than 8 months left before Yang Kai broke through to the True Lake Realm 8th Order. Now that his realm had stabilized, it was time to raise his cultivation again. Wang Xiong crushed a golden spiritual stick, and the golden powder turned into a whirlpool. Pure and dense martial kings of heaven and earth gushed out from it. Wang Xiong activated the power of the talent tree, and visible roots reached into the whirlpool, absorbing the pure spiritual liquid inside. In just a short span of 8 days, he had consumed 8 golden spirit sticks and his cultivation had reached the 7th Order True Lake Realm. The reason why it was so slow was naturally because of the accumulation of the past 8 months. After that, he had intermittently used the golden spiritual stick to cultivate. Although the 7th Order True Lake Realm was only one great realm lower than the 8th Order True Lake Realm, his strength didn't increase by much. His spiritual energy could also feel the subtle changes in the Martial King in his body. With his cultivation at the 7th Order True Lake Realm, his Martial King had reached the 7th Revolution. Compared to when he first entered the True Lake Realm, his Martial King was several times purer. As a result, the strength that he couldn't display when he used the Martial King was also weakened. His cultivation didn't stop, and his spiritual energy maintained the speed of consuming 1 golden spirit stick every day. Only when all the golden spirit sticks in his hand were consumed did his cultivation stop. My cultivation had also reached the 7th Order True Lake Realm. My unique cultivation method of stealing heaven's secret brought me 2 little benefits. If others cultivated it, even if they used the golden spirit stick, they could only absorb the martial kings of heaven and earth that escaped from the whirlpool. But I was the same. My talent tree's roots reached into the whirlpool, and this was pure plundering. The efficiency of my cultivation was much lower than before. In just a short span of 70 days, my cultivation had increased by 2 great realms, which wasn't too shocking. Originally, my spiritual energy was thinking of using the pseudo-aura to conceal my cultivation, so as to avoid suspicion. But after some consideration, I gave up on that idea. My cultivation speed could be concealed for a while, but it couldn't be concealed for a lifetime. It would be exposed sooner or later, especially now that I often came into contact with Spirit Sea realm cultivators, which made it even harder to conceal. Fortunately, I told Qian Yudang that my innate talent was top-notch, and I didn't have 87 leaves. As a result, my rapid increase in strength could be traced back to some extent. As for what Qian Yudang would think when he realized that I had reached the 7th Order True Lake realm, my spiritual energy couldn't be bothered to care about that. My battle achievements didn't increase, and it was my monthly salary. Today was also the day I handed over the exploding fire spirit stones to Qing Xiu. Wang Xiong hadn't finished refining the exploding fire spirit stones, and he had only refined a small amount. He just needed to hand them over on time. Once the exploding fire spirit stones were handed over, it would be another small sum of battle achievements. In the room, my spiritual energy rose. Seeing this, Yi wanted to hide inside Hu Po's body. "It's hidden," Wang Xiong said. He looked at me puzzled. Xiao Xinghe is a member of the brigade and he lives there, so he has to avoid him. Also, he should have gone to see 8th senior brother. "I'll listen to you." Yi smiled sweetly. Pushing open the door, my spiritual energy was surprised to find that the room was covered in silver, and light snow was falling. It was already winter. No wonder when I went into seclusion to cultivate, I didn't feel cold for 7 weeks. The changes of the 7 seasons had little impact on cultivators. After all, cultivators didn't have Wang Xiong to protect them. Cold and heat were intrusive, and cultivators could see the changes of the solar terms. Outside the courtyard, a row of snowmen was missing. Wang Xiongxia was busy working on a snowman that had taken shape. She had the temperament of a big child. Hearing the movement in front of her, Wang Xiongxia turned around and said in surprise, "Captain came out of seclusion." Before she finished speaking, she saw Yi standing beside her spiritual energy. She was a little surprised. "You have never seen Yi before, and you didn't notice when Yi left Wang Xiong's room." For a moment, I couldn't help but let my imagination run wild. No wonder he could go into seclusion for so few days at such an old age. It turned out that he didn't have a beauty to accompany him. That is, Xiao Xinghe didn't know how to address Yi. "Lu Yi, your younger sister." Spiritual energy introduced. "Oh, it's Junior." Xiao Xinghe suddenly realized that he seemed to have thought wrong. That wasn't Captain's man, but his younger sister. "But you're still confused. Where did Captain's younger sister come from?" "We greeted each other." Spiritual energy said, "Is there anything going on in the department recently?" Xiao Xinghe shook his head. Spiritual energy frowned. "When I was in seclusion, I always dared to be too immersed in it. I was afraid that I would notice if there was no news. However, I had been in seclusion for nearly 70 days, and there were no missions in the department. Since when was the law enforcement hall so free? Nothing seemed to be right." The door of the next room opened, and Lu Yuemei walked out. Spiritual energy led Yi to greet her. "8th senior brother." Lu Yuemei nodded slightly. "I heard that he was in seclusion, so I kept disturbing him. It seems that he didn't gain anything. His cultivation level improved a little." Spiritual energy replied. "8th senior brother, have you recovered from your injuries?" "Not yet." Lu Yuemei nodded and looked at Yi in front of spiritual energy. "Is that Junior Yi?" Yi walked out from spiritual energy and saluted. "Greetings, 8th senior brother." She wasn't curious. "Does 8th senior brother know you?" "I heard the leader mention it later. I didn't expect junior sister to be so hateful." Yi smiled shyly and turned to look at the snowman in the yard with a longing look. "Go and play," spiritual energy said. Yi cheered and rushed back to the courtyard to build a snowman with Xiao Xinghe. Although it was the first time the two ladies had met, they seemed to hit it off very well. For a while, they didn't talk or laugh. In the hallway, Ling Qi and Lu Yuemei stood side by side, happily watching this scene. Their mood was also very good. "And thank you, junior brother, for getting you out of here," Lu Yuemei suddenly said. Spiritual energy said, "Senior brother, we're family. Don't be so polite." Lu Yuemei grinned. "So, if you insist on thanking him, forget it, I'll take it that you said it. Senior brother, there's nothing wrong with you. He wants to ask why Shen Manzi is in charge of you." Shen Manzi was the one who took action in the Shocking Waves Lake Pass. So even if she doesn't want to, she has the power. He should know that the Lord of the Shocking Waves Lake Pass doesn't have absolute authority to transfer the soldiers, especially during wartime. Wang Xiongxia had thought about transferring you out of the Shocking Waves Lake Pass. She had tried a few times, but the other party would always release you. Wang Xiongxia couldn't do anything about it. Take that time, for example, the Azure the Arch City insisted on letting you go. You didn't know whether to leave or not. Luckily, junior brother was smart enough to trick you into signing the Tianji contract. Spiritual energy nodded. So it's not because of Shen Manzi. But since Qingdi City is like this, why did she let him retreat into the Shocking Waves Lake Pass? It's the same to go to other passes. When you went to the Shocking Waves Lake Pass, Qingdi City was still in charge. Qingdi City only went there because he came here. He should know that the Lord of the Shocking Waves Lake Pass was also transferred because of him. The Heavenly Yuan sect really put in a lot of effort. Wang Xiong's expression heated up. "Most of the people," Lu Yuemei said. "A small number of people do things within the rules, but there are always some people who follow the rules. In the end, there's nothing we can do. Forget it. The sect master has already taught this person a lesson. The sect master originally wanted to kill you, but it's a pity that this person has the Heaven Yuan sect's treasure, the Annihilation Lightning Spear. This treasure is extremely weak, and if you use it to escape, the sect master can't do anything about it. The old man is so fierce." Spiritual energy was stunned. He thought about it again. At that time, the sect master hadn't classified this person as a thief from the Wanmo Ridge. When dealing with thieves from the Wanmo Ridge, it was natural to kill them first. After the old man's revival, he became much weaker than he would be in the future. He clicked to download the best book-chasing app. Many readers use this to read books. Chapter 966. Although Lu Yi didn't know what the sect master was like in the past, he could guess based on the situation of the Jade Blood sect. If the sect master really had a strong personality, the Jade Blood sect wouldn't have declined to this point. In the past, the sect master definitely wouldn't have wanted to kill Lu Yuemei, but this time, he acted decisively. If Lu Yuemei didn't have the Annihilation Lightning Spear, she wouldn't have been able to escape death. If the people above were strong, it would be good for the people below. Although the sect master's actions couldn't dispel the thoughts of those with evil intentions, it was still a great deterrent. In the future, no one would dare to act recklessly outside the rules. The sect master has his own difficulties, Shaoxing sighed. "Right, senior apprentice brother, I have something good for you." Lu Yi suddenly felt that these small sects were meaningless. If we succeeded, we might be able to use this to start a new branch in the sect. Being polite to Jade Slip, he solemnly put it away. Whenever eldest junior apprentice brother needs to comprehend it, he will tell you. Consider it a loan. Jade Slip suddenly tilted his head, and a snowball flew past his cheek, smashing into the wall in front of him. Snow and dust flew everywhere. Turning around, I saw Yi rubbing a small snowball and throwing it over. Jade Slip sneered, and his body moved, tilting his head again. Who knew that the snowball would turn around when it was less than a foot away from me, directly smashing into my face? The snowball dispersed, revealing the figure of Amber who was hiding in the snowball. His 7 claws firmly gripped my face. Qin Qing raised his hand and removed Hupa from under his face. Hupo's small eyes stared at him with a face full of guilt. "Haha." Yi and Shaoxing's unbridled laughter came from the courtyard. Jade Slip raised his head, and a fierce light flashed in his eyes. "Good, they asked for it." A moment ago, snowballs were flying in the courtyard, accompanied by Yi and Qin Qingsong's screams. The scene fell silent. When Cheng Xiu flew back, he saw that the jade scroll was awe-inspiring. It drew its bow from the left and right, and snowballs shot out like arrows leaving the bowstring. Its power was shockingly small. Although Yi and Xiao Xinghe were 7 against 1, they were still opponents and were beaten to an extremely sorry state. "Brother Yi, you sure are in a good mood." Cheng Xiu chuckled. Qin Cheng threw out the first 2 snowballs in his hand and took out a storage pouch and threw it to Cheng Xiu. Cheng Xiu checked that there was a mistake and returned a jade slip and a storage pouch. "Minister, is this lowly one here?" the jade slip asked. Cheng Xiu said, "He should be. Recently, I've seen no signs of him leaving." Qin Cheng nodded. After handing over the exploding fire spirit stones, Cheng Xiu slowly left. "They are playing," Qin Cheng instructed. The spirit energy around his body surged, and some of his dry clothes were quickly dried. He soared into the sky and flew towards the small hall of the law department. Yi and Qin Chengsong looked at each other and pouted. It was depressing to lose a snowball fight. In the law department's small hall, after receiving the message, the jade slip straddled the blade and entered. Qian Yudang was sitting in front of the table, looking very busy. Basically, he was like this every time he saw me in the jade slip, so I knew what he was busy with. "Despicable person." Qian Yudang replied casually. "What's the matter? Dare I ask, after all this time, why haven't you received any missions?" The jade slip stated the purpose of his visit. Qian Yudang looked at me with a meaningful expression. "He came to your place to ask for missions?" The jade slip furrowed his brow and said, "There's no problem." Qian Yudang said, "The missions are from your place." The jade slip was stunned. He is the law department's minister. If he received the missions, then who received them? Who said that the law department's minister has to be responsible for receiving missions? If you have to do such a small matter, then what is the law department for? Qian Yuding put down the matter in his hand and leaned forward, revealing a meaningful smile. "You were wondering why they had been idle for so long. So you knew. What should you know?" The jade slip faintly felt that he must have misunderstood something, so he remained silent, waiting for Qian Yuding to explain to him. The law department's place to organize and issue missions is called Hunting Pavilion. After you leave the door, turn left for 100 zhang and you won't see it. Every day, he handed in his missions here. If he needs anything, he will come to your place. Of course, if there aren't some extremely ordinary missions, you will personally issue them. Why, did Inshio not tell him about those things? The jade slip didn't say anything. Qin Chengsong was busy making snowmen, so why would he tell me those things? However, after thinking about it, it was his fault. After all, it was common knowledge. As long as one worked in the law department for a long time, they would naturally know. Moreover, the jade slip had been in seclusion recently, so Xiao Xinghe didn't have the chance to tell me those things. Today, when he came out of seclusion, the jade slip rushed to the outside. If he didn't ask Xiao Xinghe, he naturally wouldn't have made such a mistake. Yes, their team members are complete. Shouldn't they first replenish the team members before carrying out the mission? Qian Yudang asked. "You are waiting for someone," Qin Chengsong replied. "Can an 8-man team accept a mission? That's not possible. This subordinate will report." Seeing the jade slip enter, Qian Yuding hurriedly sent a message out. After exiting the law department's small hall, the jade slip turned left and walked for 1,000 feet. Sure enough, they saw a building with the plaque of the hunting pavilion. There were no cultivators walking out of it. They should be members of the law enforcement hall. It was unknown whether they had accepted a mission or came to settle it. Qin Chengsong stepped inside and looked around. The hunting pavilion's furnishings were very eye-catching. It wasn't just a table, but a plump old man with a round figure was sitting in front of the table. He was currently busy. After Qin Chengsong came down, he heavily knocked on the table. The plump old man looked up at the jade slip and said in surprise, "I've seen him before. Is he new?" The jade slip nodded. Yes. Although it had been a month since he joined the law department, he was still new. "Accepted a mission?" the plump old man asked. "Yes. Take a look for yourself." As the plump old man said this, He took out a few qinchengs and placed them behind the jade slip. Qin Chengzong casually picked up a piece and immersed his mind in studying it. Very slowly, he understood the contents recorded within. He then looked at the other pieces of land and gradually understood. Every piece of qinchengs was a mission. It recorded the target of the mission, which way law was violated, the current cultivation level, background, etc. Some of them even recorded the location and time of the target's first appearance. The mission information was quite detailed. Following the information to capture the target should be very difficult. However, what made the jade slip slightly puzzled was that these missions seemed to be a little too complicated. Among the few mission targets recorded in the jade slip, the weakest was only at the 7th order True Lake Realm, while the youngest was at the 1st or 2nd order True Lake Realm. Are there any other missions? Qin Chengzong asked. The plump old man shook his head. No mission was better than having one. 8th senior brother was lacking in battle merits. The rewards of those missions were very generous, but they accumulated. The rewards of those missions were low, but they were still useful. Just as he was about to accept the mission that recorded the location and time of the target's first appearance, no one stepped into the room. The newcomer's aura was ferocious. His clothes were still stained with dried blood, as if he had just experienced a battle. He came to the table and handed over a piece of land leaf. Turn in the mission. The plump old man put it away and asked the newcomer with a smile, "Do you still want to accept another mission?" "Of course." The plump old man nodded and took out a small pile of land leaves like a magic trick. He placed them in front of the newcomer. The newcomer looked at them carelessly and casually picked one up to examine it. He then said, "That one." Turning around, he walked out in a swift and decisive manner. As soon as I left, the jade slip reached out to grab the small pile of land leaves. However, it grabbed nothing. The plump old man didn't move at all, so I put away the remaining land leaves. Are there any other missions? The jade slip looked at the plump old man. The plump old man smiled slightly. What is suitable for others may not be suitable for him. For him, there are only these few missions. The jade slip narrowed his eyes slightly. Did Qian greet him? The plump old man smiled but didn't say anything. The jade slip immediately understood, his heart filled with disdain. Qian Yudang, that bastard, seemed to care a lot about Shaoxinghe's danger, so he ordered the other side to only give him a few complicated missions. He also needs to find the minister to reason with him. As a new team, he needs to temper himself. As an old man, he needs to remember that once he eats, he will become a fatty. The plump old man earnestly instructed, if he really wants to accept a mission with a lower difficulty, he will need to start with the missions in front of him. If he does well, the minister will naturally know his ability. The jade slip thought for a moment and nodded. Junior's teachings are correct. As he said that, he picked up the land leaves he had chosen, that one. The plump old man looked at the jade slip with gratification. In this day and age, there are very few old men who can listen to the advice of old men. Let him go. Right? Don't forget to contact the local Nightingale. Nightingale? The jade slip was puzzled. The Law Division is an intelligence agency. They are a group of smart and capable old men. We are responsible for collecting and organizing intelligence, and at the same time, we are responsible for monitoring the target. Without our help, the mission will be more complicated. The jade slip understood. Junior, thanks for the advice. In his heart, he thought, the things he had to learn were indeed very few. It seemed that in the past, he had to ask Qin Chengzong for help whenever he encountered a problem. You were always by Qian Yudang's side, so you were more unfamiliar with the Law Division than I was. Chapter 967. After exiting the hunting pavilion, Lu Yi flew straight to his courtyard and landed in the courtyard. Yi and Lin Yinxiu were still building snowmen. After the snowball fight just now, the snowmen from before had all been destroyed. Now there was another batch. Seeing Lu Yi return, the two women looked at each other, and with a tacit understanding, they secretly rolled up snowballs. Stop playing, there's a mission. Lu Yi shouted. Yi and Lin Yinxiu quickly stood up straight. Xiao Xinghe also walked out of his room. Lu Yi raised the jade slip in his hand and waved it. Strictly speaking, this is our team's first mission, so we must do it well. Yi and Lin Yinxiu responded together. Even Xiao Xinghe cupped his fists and said yes. In private, he was the third senior brother, but in this team, Lu Yi was the team leader. He was very clear about this. Let's go. Lu Yi called out and summoned his spirit boat. A few streams of light shot into the sky and quickly left Grand Sky City. Along the way, Lu Yi explained the details of this mission, while Lin Yinxiu and Xiao Xinghe listened quietly. After Lu Yi finished, Xiao Xinghe said, "From the looks of it, the most difficult part of this mission is to find the person, but if we have the help of the local nightingale, it won't be a big problem." Lu Yi thought so too, but to be safe, he asked Lin Yinxiu, "What do you think?" "What do you want me to think?" Lin Yinxiu asked innocently. Ever since she joined Lu Ye's team, she had always adhered to the principle of doing whatever the team leader told her to do. She had to be the most obedient one. "Ask him now." Long Fuhong thought for a moment and said, "Finding the mission target might be a bit difficult." "Why do you say that?" "You'll hear from the department head in the future that those seemingly complicated missions are actually the missions that the teams of the law enforcement hall are most willing to accept. This is because they need to spend a lot of time looking for the mission target. Without the mission target knowing that they have committed a crime, they will naturally hide everywhere. If the law enforcement hall teams accept the mission and can't find the target after a long time, they can only give up. Therefore, very few of these types of missions are assigned by the weaker guilds." That kind of thing hadn't happened yet. It was strange that those seemingly complicated missions had been kept in the hunting pavilion. Yunhe originally thought that it was because there was little profit to be made, but now it seemed that that was only a part of the reason. The smallest reason was that it was easy to find people. It made sense. The 4 provinces were vast, and even the Force province was extremely vast. If these cultivators who committed crimes insisted on hiding, it would indeed be difficult for them to find us. It was a wrong choice to send out some Spirit Sea Realm cultivators to search for the target with their spiritual will. But how could a Spirit Sea Realm cultivator do such a complicated thing? None of us had anything important to do. "How are you going to find the local nightingale when you get there?" Yunhe asked again. "The captain can use the guard token. Right now, he doesn't have the position of captain of the Law Division's disciplinary hall. He can use the guard token to send out a message. If Nightingale isn't within 100 miles, he will come and look for her." Long Fu nodded slightly. That was complicated. Along the way, Yunhe thought that it was time to go to the Tianji treasure vault to look for a smaller flying spiritual tool that could at least accommodate a group of 8 people. Just like King Gengwu's group, they were driven by only one person while the others were resting and cultivating. It would waste too much time. 2 days ago, somewhere in the Force province, Long Fu and the others turned their heads and looked around. In the wilderness, there were plants and flowers. The map below showed that this place was Dulong Mountain. There weren't many sects here, only a few great clans established themselves here. Yunhe picked up the guard token at his waist and injected his spiritual energy into it. He sent out a message and waited quietly. Very slowly, there was no reply. That meant that there was no nightingale within 100 miles. It was his bad luck. Nightingale's organization was extremely mysterious. Only Qian Yuding had the Nightingale's name list. In the entire Law Division, other than Qian Yuding, no one else knew about the name list. Therefore, Qian Yuding was in charge of protecting the Nightingales and hiding their whereabouts at the same time. After all, the law enforcement hall's job was to offend people. The Nightingales who hid in the dark to collect information were also hated by many people. After waiting for an incense stick's worth of time, Yunhe suddenly turned his head and looked in a certain direction. He picked up the guard token at his waist and waved it. Law Enforcement Hall's Yunhe. In this direction, a figure quickly appeared. It was 1,000 meters away. Lin Yinxiu and Xiao Xinghe were both stunned. Both of them had noticed the arrival of this person, but Yunhe was able to sense it at the first moment. Just his perception alone was enough to make the two of them sigh. The newcomer seemed to be a man, and a ghost cultivator at that. Otherwise, he would have been able to sneak within 1,000 meters without being detected by Yunhe. Your figure is petite and exquisite, and you are wearing a mask that shows your true appearance. After confirming Long Fu's identity, he quickly got down and cupped his fists. Greetings, Junior. Yunhe raised his eyebrows slightly. Ever since he joined the Force Province Guard, he had never called anyone Junior. This was the first time he had been called that. And judging from the spiritual energy fluctuations the other party released, your cultivation was only at the 8th Order Lu Yi realm. That kind of cultivation was honed in the Lu Yi battlefield, but now it had become Yi Ying's. Obviously, he was planning for his own future because Yi Ying didn't receive a monthly salary, and Yunhe would definitely complete the mission smoothly, so he wouldn't receive a share of the punishment. There were cultivators in the 4 provinces who were interested in war merits, but even if they were all at the Lu Yi realm, no one would rush about, and no one would look down on their foresight. Yunhe raised his hand and flicked the jade slip. This is the target of this mission. Have you seen it recently? Ying took the jade slip, checked it for a moment, and said, the last time you saw me was 10 days ago, in Widow Mountain. We haven't seen each other since then. Take you to the place in front of me, Yunhe ordered. Yes. Yi Ying accepted the order and immediately rushed off in a certain direction. The 8 people in the group followed closely behind. 2 hours ago, they arrived at a certain place in the depths of Dulong Mountain. Only then did Nightingale stop and say, it's not that place anymore. That day, I encountered a monster outside and fought with it. You saw it from afar. The target of the mission was a true Lake 8th Order. Yi Ying wasn't Long Fu 8th Order, so she naturally didn't dare to get too close. After 10 days, even if there weren't any traces, it would have disappeared. Yunhe looked for a moment and found nothing, so he said to Yi Ying, let him go, but be careful of the danger. Yes, Yi Ying accepted the order and respectfully went forward. Soon, she disappeared from sight. After that, it's up to you. Should we split up? Long Fuhong asked. Yunhe nodded. I'll contact you immediately if I don't find anything. The target's cultivation was very low. Even if Lin Yinxiu encountered it alone, it wouldn't be a problem. Splitting up was naturally the most efficient way. The 8 people in the group immediately split into 8 directions to search. Although there were no sects in Widow Mountain, there weren't many rogue cultivators. Yunhe searched and found some rogue cultivators running around the mountain. Young masters like us gather medicinal herbs outside to earn some meager cultivation resources. The rogue cultivators who stayed outside were basically people who liked to be free or cherished their lives. Otherwise, they wouldn't be able to join the Weapon Province Guards and would have to live in poverty. Yunhe naturally wouldn't say anything about this. Everyone had no ambition and weak desires. In the cultivation world of the 4 continents, the cultivation community was very small. There were always all kinds of people. These people who committed crimes didn't know the consequences of violating the way law, but they still did it. No matter how strict the law was, it couldn't limit the simplicity of a person's heart. Although Yunhe was a true lake-stage cultivator, he didn't have his divine sense. With his divine sense spread out, he could vaguely sense any movement within a radius of 1 meter. Therefore, my search efficiency was much lower than a true lake-stage cultivator. The target of this mission appeared within a radius of 1 meter from me, so it must be hiding. Unfortunately, I didn't find anything until nighttime. As night fell, the 8 people in the group gathered together again. Yunhe finally understood the difficulty of the mission. Just like what Lin Yinxiu said, the mission itself was difficult. It was just capturing a true lake-stage 8th Order cultivator. The 8 people in the group couldn't make a move. The difficult part was finding the target. If they could find the target, then everything could be discussed. This was also the reason why such missions were liked by the disciplinary hall and always required the weak to be assigned. But the fat old man from the hunting pavilion was wrong. If those missions were completed, then what was the point of counting on them to do small tasks? Those small tasks were also a test. That was the first mission under the disciplinary hall's benevolence. If they returned with their heads covered in dirt, then it would be over. It's already late. Let's search tomorrow? Lin Yinxiu suggested. Other disciplinary hall teams have 8 people, but we don't have 8. Our search efficiency is also low. Yes. Yunyi shook his head and took out an item from his storage space. Lin Yinxiu looked at it and was slightly stunned. That's tracking plate. As expected of the man beside Qian Yuding, Xiao Xinghe recognized the item in Yunhe's hand and couldn't help but be angry. We don't have that thing. It's too complicated to find the target. He then explained, Captain doesn't have that thing. Why did he take it out in the morning? What the hell did he know? That thing was worth 80,000 battle achievements. He knew that he could get a lot of battle achievements for that mission. Yunhe wanted to save as much as he could, but now, to save 80,000 battle achievements, he had to spend a lot of time looking for the target. The gains were more than the losses. Without the time to look for the target, he had to do something. So, even if the cost was huge, Long Fu could only use the tracking plate. There's no need to waste it. Long Fuhong said, a treasure like the tracking plate can only be found by chance. I've only heard of it and have never seen it with my own eyes. It would be a waste to use it on a target who wasn't even a true lake stage 8th order cultivator. If that thing was sold, no matter who it was sold to, they would get a small profit. There's no harm. The tracking plate might be precious to others, but to me, it's not worth 80,000 battle achievements. As long as I don't have enough battle achievements, the War Merit Pavilion will not allow me to exchange it. Chapter 968. Unsheathing the Pan Mountain Saber, Lu Yi made a cut on his finger and used his blood as a guide to write down a person's name on the tracing disc. At the same time, he visualized the specific information of the mission target in his mind. In the next instant, the tracing disc emitted a red light. The needle of the compass spun rapidly and then suddenly stopped. Looking in the direction of the needle, Lu Yi called out, "Let's go." 3 figures flew across the sky. After 2 hours, they stopped in the sky above Dulong Mountain. At this moment, the needle of the tracing disc in Lu Ye's hand was spinning non-stop. This clearly didn't mean that there was a malfunction. Instead, it meant that the target was right below. Keeping the tracing disc, Lu Yi looked down but didn't find anything obvious. "You guys wait here," Lu Yi ordered, then flew down and landed on the ground not long after. He spread out his spiritual will and sensed carefully. Soon, he sensed the aura of a living person hidden in the depths of the ground. Obviously, it was the target of this mission. Turning his head, he saw traces of an array on a nearby rock wall. However, in Lu Ye's eyes, these arrays were set up very crudely. Clearly, the target didn't have much knowledge in arrays. He didn't rush to make a move. Instead, he continued to scan the surroundings. After a while, he called Xiao Xinghe and Lin Yinxiu, who were waiting in the air. He instructed Xiao Xinghe to stay here and rushed in another direction with Lin Yinxiu. The target of this mission clearly knew the principle of a crafty rabbit having 3 burrows. Therefore, there was more than one entrance to the hiding place. Ordinary true lake stage cultivators might not be able to find it. However, with Wu Qing's spiritual will, the direction of the tunnel on the ground was naturally hidden. Very slowly, Xiao Xinghe finished his preparations and blocked the other opening. Only then did Wu Qing rush to the 8th exit and heavily knock on Hu Po's head. He flashed out. Without saying anything, he had already seen through Wu Qing's thoughts. "Be more careful," Wu Qing instructed. He responded crisply. Her figure flashed and she escaped into the ground. The night was thick and frogs croaked and insects talked. Suddenly, Yi's delicate voice came from the depths of the ground. "The law enforcement hall is on duty. Lu Yi, something happened to him. Quickly surrender." The Martial King was amused when he heard this. He could almost imagine what it would be like for Yi to shout out such murderous words. The girl was obviously influenced by Geng Fengxi. The next time King Wu went on a mission with Geng Chuiwe shouted something similar. Almost at the same time as Yi's voice fell, a violent spiritual energy fluctuation came from the depths of the ground. Feng Shi's divine sense sensed that before this guy called Lu Yi attacked Yi, he had been frantically fleeing in a certain direction. And this direction was precisely where Xiao Xinghe was guarding. I hurriedly ran over there. As soon as he arrived, he saw a figure scurrying out of the cave that was covered by the array formation. Immediately after, Xiao Xinghe took out an item in his hand. It was a net-shaped treasure. Lu Yi was caught off guard, but how could he resist it? He was caught in the net. I still wanted to struggle, but Feng Shi had already taken a step forward and kicked me. With a loud bang, the kick landed squarely on Feng Shi, who was trapped by the net, and sent him crashing into a small tree, breaking it into two halves. Gather! Xiao Xinghe shouted and urged his spiritual energy to tighten the small net. No matter how Lu Yi struggled, it was useless. A long saber was unsheathed and placed under Feng Shi's neck. King Wu shouted, "If you dare to resist again, you'll be killed." The law department's law enforcement hall didn't have the right to kill the target of a mission, especially when the target resisted, so it didn't matter if King Wu killed the person outside. Feeling Feng Shi's killing intent, Feng Shi finally obediently came up. Tied up in the net, he raised his head to look at King Wu and sighed heavily. Finally, came. The sound of clothes fluttering could be heard as Lin Yinxiu rushed over. Seeing the situation over there, she felt relieved. Feng Shi looked at the exhausted Lu Yi and said indifferently, "If you want to die, be obedient. If he doesn't do anything, you will kill him on the spot. Do you understand? Since I've been captured, I naturally have to think for myself." Lu Yi nodded in resignation. After entering the punishment prison, there may be no chance of survival. Resisting outside will only lead to death. You should understand that. King Wu nodded slightly and sheathed his saber. Since the target of the mission had been obtained, there was no need to stay outside. King Wu called out and the group set off in the direction of Haotian City. Lu Yi had indeed accepted his fate. Along the way, he didn't show any signs of resistance and let Feng Shixing use this net-like treasure to tie him up. What did I say? I don't think there's anything to say to the law enforcement hall. 2 days ago, the group returned to Haotian City. Since they had captured the person, they naturally had to send him to the punishment prison. The 8 people separated. Lu Yi was sent to the punishment prison by Lin Yinxiu and Xiao Xinghe, while King Wu went straight to the hunting pavilion. The fat old man was surprised to see King Wu. "You came back so late? The mission is... It's done." King Wu returned the mission jade slip that he took from outside. The fat old man was stunned. His luck is wrong. I naturally understood the difficulty of these missions. Originally, I thought that it would take King Wu and the others at least 10 days to half a month to complete the mission, and there was a very small chance of success. However, it only took them 7 days to complete the mission. Deducting the time spent on the journey back and forth, their efficiency was extraordinary. Their luck was exceptionally good. "Junior, can we get less battle merits from such a mission?" King Wu. 70,000 battle merits. The fat old man replied. The corner of King Wu's eye twitched. That mission cost 70,000 battle merits, and the tracking plate cost 80,000 battle merits. That was equivalent to earning 20,000 battle merits in 7 days. There were still 8 people to share. The harvest was really meager. One must know that refining the explosive fire spirit rock didn't earn me 7,000 battle merits in a single day. However, some things couldn't be based on me. To other true lake-stage cultivators, that kind of harvest was already wrong. My battle merits were complicated, but it was very difficult for 8th senior brother Lin Yinxiu to obtain battle merits. Thus, some things couldn't be calculated clearly. "Give me another mission," King Wu said. The fat old man naturally agreed and took out the next few mission jade slips. The martial king checked them a little and carefully selected one before leaving the hunting pavilion. Turning right, 1,000 feet, he stepped into the law division's small hall. Qian Yudeng looked up and was equally surprised. The hunting pavilion and the punishment prison have already reported that the mission was completed incorrectly. This lowly one has come without a single request. Let's hear it first. Qian Yudeng immediately became alert. The next time Feng Shi asked me to sign a warrant for free recruitment, Lu Yueme was almost beaten to death by Elder Tang. Learning from the past, Qian Yudeng was extremely wary of King Wu's so-called request. I didn't take any of the battle merits from the previous mission and distributed them to the others in the team. Qian Yudeng was shocked. "You didn't take any?" King Wu nodded. "Is this possible?" I know that the distribution of battle merits wasn't decided by Qian Yudeng, but by heaven's will. However, People like Qian Yudang and Notionless Moon Immortal didn't have the ability to interfere to a certain extent. Take the attack on Lonely Mountain City as an example. If Notionless Moon Immortal had reported to Heaven's Will, I wouldn't have been able to obtain such a small amount of battle merits. There's no problem with a small amount. Qian Yuding nodded slightly and looked at Feng Shi. It's good that he took care of the team members above, but he himself, I know that you don't lack battle merits. Moreover, as your cultivation increases, the efficiency of refining explosive fire spirit rock will also gradually increase. It's still very difficult for you to obtain battle merits before this. That's true. Qian Yudang agreed with King Wu's words. Which true lake-stage cultivator could steadily obtain 700,000 battle merits in a month? If what King Wu said was true, as my cultivation increases, the efficiency of refining explosive fire spirit rock will increase, and the battle merits I previously obtained will decrease. Alright, since you've agreed to this, I'll report to Heaven's Will. As for the result, it's up to you to decide. Then you don't have to thank me. I'll take my leave now. Returning to his courtyard, Feng Shi went to Heaven's Will Hall and spent some battle merits to buy a spirit boat that could accommodate 4 people. He then entered the War Merit Pavilion and exchanged for a tracking plate. When he returned to his courtyard, Feng Shixing and Feng Shixing had already returned. Seeing Feng Shi's return, they both came to welcome him. Xiao Xinghe said cheerfully, Captain, you've obtained 80,000 battle merits from that mission. At such a young age, that was the first time you've obtained so much battle merits. Naturally, you're very happy. Feng Shixing, on the other hand, was puzzled. Junior Marshal Brother, were the battle merits given out wrongly? Why are there so few? Even though I know how the law enforcement hall works, my original estimate was that I would have been wrong if I could get 10,000 battle points from that mission. How could it not be close to 80,000 battle points? That kind of mission has been piled up for too long. Although the difficulty is low, the rewards are quite generous. Furthermore, the battle merits are given out by Heaven's Will, so there's no reason for mistakes. King Wu casually made up an explanation. He sighed in his heart. Qian Yudang's efficiency was still very low. Heaven's Will had obviously agreed to my request and distributed the battle merits equally to Feng Shixing and the 7 others. That was exactly what King Wu wanted. Although Lin Yinxiu didn't have any doubts, thinking about what the Martial King said, he wasn't wrong. Battle merits and merit points were given out by Tianji. Naturally, there could be some mistakes, so she didn't worry too much. Captain, when will we carry out the last mission? Feng Shixing asked expectantly. Without a successful mission experience, you'll hate the feeling of running around for your own cultivation resources. That's a feeling you've never experienced in your life. In the future, all the cultivation resources you don't have will be given to you by Qian Yudang. Whatever you need to do, you just need to focus on cultivation, even in the Spirit Stream battlefield. As for the Cloud River battlefield, you've never been there. Chapter 969. Rest today and set off tomorrow. Lu Yi waved the mission jade slip in her hand. Yes. Lin Yinxiu happily accepted the order and returned to her room to recuperate. Xiao Xinghe saw her acting like a child and laughed. Where did Junior Brother find this girl? She looks like she hasn't grown up yet. Lu Yi looked around and whispered in Xiao Xinghe's ear. Xiao Xinghe was shocked. No way. It didn't seem like it. Lu Yi nodded solemnly. If not, how could she become a member of my team when we didn't know each other before? Although he was dissatisfied with Qian Wudong putting Lin Yinxiu in his team, he slowly got used to it after getting along with her. Lin Yinxiu's personality was obedient and gentle. As a captain, who wouldn't like such a team member? However, her identity was a bit sensitive. Letting third senior brother know would save him some trouble in the future. Xiao Xinghe was too lazy to care about these messy things, so he didn't ask any more. I'm going to the Tianji treasury. He was obviously going to exchange for a spirit stick to cultivate. Normal cultivators were like this. If they had some merit, they would use it to exchange for a spirit stick to cultivate. Very few of them could save it. After all, for cultivators, the best way to cultivate was to convert their merit into cultivation. Only Lu Yi often had a lot of merit in her hands. Xiao Xinghe went to the Tianji treasury while Lu Yi returned to her room and immersed herself in imprinting the soaring dragon realm's origin. Perhaps because her cultivation hadn't decreased, the time needed to imprint the soaring dragon realm's origin was getting shorter and shorter. The next morning, a Lu Yi rose from the courtyard and the 8 people set off again. In front of the table in the law department's small hall, Qian Yudeng was handling official business. Across from me, a chubby old man was slumped under a chair, his legs crossed under the table as he leisurely hummed a tune. Qian Yudeng's veins gradually bulged on his forehead, but he still couldn't bear it. He slapped the table and said, "Old man, he's working in the hunting pavilion. Why did he come to your place? If he came, he came. If others saw him like that, where would your dignity go?" The fat old man sneered, "This old man is content to be restrained. What does this have to do with his dignity?" He rubbed his temples and said, "What is he trying to do?" The fat old man sat up straight. "I'm just curious. Why does he think so highly of the eldest son of the Jade blood sect? He's actually willing to put that little girl Inxiu by my side. Speaking of that, it was still okay. Speaking of Qian Yushao, my heart ached. That old man has a son and a son. How would he know of my worries? No matter how much I like a person, I would still act like that. The reason why Inxiu is by Lu Ye's side is entirely because of you. Moreover, I also know that I can't protect her for the rest of her life. I should go out and sharpen myself. It can be considered pushing the boat along with the current. That's true. That big bro's luck is really bad. The next time he accepted a mission, he completed it in 7 days. That time, it was much longer. Qian Yudeng said, "How long does he think it will take? Who can say for sure?" For the next mission, the earliest record of the target being observed by Nightingale was 10 days later. It can be considered untraceable. That time was the same. The earliest record of the target was less than 2 months old. Even if I asked Division Leader C to look for it, it can only be based on luck. If luck is good, 1 or 2 months. If luck is good, there will be no results for several years. Qian Yudeng was instantly amused. That's a mistake. Why does he look so depressed? The fat old man was puzzled. What does he know? Qian Yudeng was too lazy to explain too little. If the mission was completed too slowly, Inxiu would not have a sense of accomplishment. Without a sense of accomplishment, she would always stay by Lu Ye's side. The current situation was very wrong. It's best if we work hard for a few months. Once we get something, Inxiu might be tired of that task. At that time, I'll just have to persuade her a little. Do you still have to worry about her changing her mind? Thinking of this, Qian Yudeng was in a good mood. Time passed quickly. 7 days ago. Qian Yudeng, who was dealing with official business, noticed that there was no message. After checking, he was extremely surprised. The mission has been completed? How could it be completed so slowly? It was completely reasonable. Next time, I was able to complete the mission within 7 days because I was lucky. That was because the target had always left the place before me. However, that time was the same. The record of the target's previous whereabouts was 2 months later. In 2 months, who knew where the target had run off to? It was an exaggeration to say that it was like looking for a needle in a haystack. That was also the reason why this type of mission had always been left in the hunting pavilion and no team was willing to accept it. Speaking of this matter, there was no team that would specially come to accept this kind of mission. When the young masters came to accept other missions, they would casually look through the mission content and record all kinds of information about the mission target. This way, when they were carrying out other missions with more generous punishments, they would also pay attention to the whereabouts of the mission target. If luck was good, they could seize the opportunity to capture the target. Once they captured the target, it would still be considered that they had completed the mission. The war merit punishment would be even a little bit more. Who was Luya? That was a mission that even CC might not be able to complete. How could it be completed so quickly when it came to my subordinates? If it was the first time, it could not be considered good luck. But if it was not the 7th time, then it was not right. As Bian Xiuzhu, Qian Yudeng's mind was naturally very sharp. He immediately thought of the treasure tracking plate. But after a long time he rejected that thought. Firstly, the tracking plate was extremely rare. Even if Wuxia did not have one, he might not have a seventh. Moreover, the value of that item was very high. Using the tracking plate for that kind of mission was clearly too worth it. For a moment, he did not understand what method the jade slip used to complete the mission so quickly and with such low efficiency. However, he had indeed captured the target and had not been sent to the punishment prison. At the same time, in the hunting pavilion, the fat old man was also dumbstruck as he looked at the jade slip that Bian Xiuzhu had come to hand in the mission. A few days later, I had told Qian Yudang that the mission was lucky for 1 or 2 months. Even if luck was good, there would be no results for several years. I had thought that in just a few short days, the mission would be completed. Eldest son, how did you do it? The fat old man was unable to suppress the curiosity in his heart. Heavenly Mystery Scroll. The jade slip spoke nonsense. Naturally, the fat old man would believe my nonsense. Junior, isn't it too troublesome to take one mission at a time? Can you take a few fewer missions at a time? To me, finding and capturing people was a very complicated matter. The only problem was not that it took too little time to travel back and forth. If I could take a few fewer missions at a time, the efficiency would be increased. Normally speaking, it's possible. The main thing is that I'm afraid that they will be greedy and bite off more than they can chew. Moreover, since he has already taken the mission, it's fair to the others. What if others also want to take those missions? That's why the hunting pavilion has never had a rule that only one mission can be taken at a time. The fat old man spoke slowly. There will be people who will take those missions. Rules are not rules. Whether there are rules or not, it's up to them. Did this junior give any advice? Bian Xiuzhu asked tentatively. The fat old man chuckled. He's stupid. The mission spirit boats are all outside. He remembered the characteristics of those mission targets in his heart. It's also that he must take the mission before he can capture the person. When he captures the person back, the process of taking the mission cannot be changed. The punishment will be the same. Bian Xiuzhu suddenly understood. I understand. Yes, Guadazi. He will tell you honestly. Why does he think that he can definitely complete those missions? Those people are easy to find. We are used to hiding. Does the junior know that there is no such thing as a tracking plate? His son is honest. The fat old man was panting with anger. This old man taught him a trick, but he played me like that. Is he a kind and honest person? A moment ago, Jade Slip walked out of the hunting pavilion with a face full of confusion. Tell me honestly, how did I play him like that? But I didn't use the tracking plate to find people. The next day, Lu Yi soared into the sky, and the group of 8 set off again. In the hunting pavilion, Qian Yudeng watched Lu Yi leave before he turned around and left. The fat old man was instantly amused. What a rare guest. Why did I come to this old man's place? Come, have a seat. The corner of Qian Yudeng's eyes twitched. Old minister, can he be more stable? Don't make fun of me. The fat old man smiled. What old minister? He is the only minister in the law department. Do you want to be that minister? Or will he be the one promoting you? Speaking of that, Qian Yudeng was full of anger. The people in the department only felt that the law department's Bian Xiuzhu's position was limited. However, it was not so easy to be the head of a department. All day long, all the work was done, and there was no time for leisure. Back then, if that old man behind the eyes had lied to me, I would have agreed to take up the position of law department's Bian Xiuzhu no matter what. In the end, I took over the position of law department's Bian Xiuzhu for a few days. The old man who was supposed to be alive and kicking appeared in front of me alive and kicking. He even entered the hunting pavilion and became the manager of that department. It was really disgusting. What happened back then? Why are you mentioning it? The fat old man chuckled. If that's the case, minister, I came to your place without any orders? Qian Yudeng said, did Lu Yi accept this kind of mission again? The fat old man nodded. He didn't ask me how I found the person so slowly? Yes, I did. I said that I was going to use the tracking plate. You are really fooling me. The tracking plate is a gift from the heavens and can be refined by anyone. Who would be stupid enough to use the tracking plate to complete the mission of the hunting pavilion? Qian Yudang frowned. No, there is only one possibility. Did I really use the tracing disc? The fat old man looked at me. Am I stupid or is he stupid? Qian Yudang would definitely deny that he was stupid. He said, if that's the case, then I was really lucky to be able to complete these 2 missions? The fat old man's expression was solemn. If a person's luck is that good, then it is really abnormal. Qian Yudang's heart shook. It was obvious that he realized something. In the 4 states, there was nothing called the Heaven's Scroll. 7017K. Chapter 970. Outside Grand Heaven City, the spirit boat flew into the sky. The spirit boat was driven by Shao Xinghe. Lu Yi sat cross-legged at the bow with 6 tracing discs in front of him. Each tracing disc was filled with blood qi and each needle was pointing in a certain direction. Lin Yinxiu was dumbfounded. Captain, where did you get so many tracing discs? In the previous 2 missions, Lu Yi had completed them with the help of tracing discs. Lin Yinxiu already felt that it was a bit unbelievable. After all, tracing discs were extremely rare. Lu Yi using them to complete his missions was a bit wasteful. This time, it was even more excessive. He actually used 6 tracing discs at once. In the entire war province, even if all the large and small sects of the 2 camps were added together, they probably wouldn't have so many tracing discs. I picked them up, Lu Yi said perfunctorily. The items in the War Credit Pavilion were not allowed to be leaked. They could only be used for their own use. This rule was told to him by the gold and silver flood dragons when he first entered. Lin Yinxiu asked innocently, where did you pick them up? She had a longing expression on her face that said, I also want to pick them up. Lu Yi really didn't want to talk to her. He had spent a lot of battle points to buy these 6 tracing discs from the War Credit Pavilion. Now, he only had a little more than 20,000 battle points left. Fortunately, he had just broken through to the 5th Order True Lake Realm and didn't need to use a spirit stick to cultivate for a while, so he didn't have much desire for battle points. He paid close attention to the changes in the needles of the 6 tracing discs in front of him. 2 hours later, under Lu Ye's guidance, the spirit boat flew in a certain direction. The tracing discs were used to find people, but the efficiency of the team of 3 was much slower than before. It was just that those people were gathered all over the war province, so it took some time to find them. Even so, in a short span of 10 days, they had captured 7 out of the 8 targets, leaving only the one at the front, Ling Zhou. These 7 people were now under Lu Yi. The sect didn't treat them too harshly and didn't even have any intention of restricting them. It couldn't be said that the 7 of them were completely free, but they could leave Lu Ye's side. The cultivation of these 7 people could be considered to be very low, but they were tactful. Ever since they were captured, they had been well behaved. Xiao Gao had accepted his fate. We also know that since we have committed a crime, we will inevitably be watched by the law enforcement hall. We can hide for a while, but in the end, we will hide for a lifetime. Our crimes against our superiors can be considered too minor. Now that we have been captured, we will only be sent to the punishment prison to suffer. Then, we will be transferred to a peaceful mountain pass to make up for our mistakes. As long as our luck is average, it will be a problem for us to survive. However, if one resisted before being captured, it would not only be an additional crime, but the punishment would also be lighter. Out of the 8 targets, he had yet to complete 7. Only the first target was left. As long as he could successfully complete it, he would be able to report back. The reason why the sect was reluctant to use the tracing plate to complete the tasks that were of little value to the other law enforcement hall teams was naturally to make a loss. That was because only then would the brigade not have the chance to take on other missions and earn less merit. Now, there were only 8 people in the team. A single mission was worth at least 70,000 merit. If Xia Mingxiang and Zhou Wang were to share it equally, the income would still be considerable. However, the brigade would eventually be full of 8 people. At that time, even if he still took the slightest bit of merit, the income would still be too little if the 7 of them shared the merit equally. The members of the brigade could only grow faster if they did not take on missions with more generous punishments. The needle under the tracing plate was shaking slightly, which meant that they were not very close to the target. The sect took out the 10 points map to check. At the end of the map was a small city called Dingtian City. He frowned. He had vaguely seen the name of the city somewhere. After thinking for a moment, he remembered where he had heard the name of the city. It was the record of Zhou Wang in the Hunting Pavilion's mission. According to the record of Zhou Wang, Xiao Xinghe was a member of the Zhou clan of Dingtian City. However, the Zhou clan of Dingtian City was not famous in the entire War province. That was because it was an ordinary 8th grade cultivation family. There were 2 small camps in the 4 provinces. There were very few forces that could climb to the lower 8th grade. The young masters were all like Xia Ming. Although there were many cultivation families, their ranks were relatively high. This was because the cultivation method of the cultivation family had many drawbacks that could be avoided. At the very least, there was a way to ensure the quality of the descendants. It was very difficult to pass down a long legacy. Wei LV was the same. He opened his door and accepted talents. There were no ordinary disciples in each generation, so it was much more difficult to pass down a legacy than a cultivation family. For the Zhou family to be able to enter the lower 8 ranks, it was obvious that their foundation was extremely strong. At the very least, they didn't have a single Divine Sea Realm Master. As for how many Divine Sea Realm Masters they had and what realm they were at, the sect would know. Xia Ming didn't record this information. Compared to the other 7 mission targets, the offense of the spirit boat was the most serious. 8 years later, when I fought with someone, some mortals were affected and dozens of people were killed or injured. According to the Jade Slip, such an evil thing should be executed. The fight between cultivators would affect mortals. That was only the Jade Slip of the military province. It was also the Xia Ming of the other 4 provinces. Whether it was the Grand Sky Alliance or the Myriad Demons Ridge, they had to abide by that rule. Those who violated it would be severely punished. The sect recalled the content of the mission of the spirit boat, Zhou Wang, and confirmed that there was no information recorded in Xiaming. The first time the target appeared was 1 year later in the Dingtian City. Since then, the information of the mission had not been updated. The mission had been in the hunting pavilion for such a long time. It must have been assigned to other teams of the law enforcement hall. Kuku's spirit boat was in the Dingtian City. How could these teams complete the mission? The following mission targets were all hiding in the wilderness. If there was no clear direction, it would be really troublesome to find them. It depended on luck whether one could find them or not. The situation of the spirit boat was the same. The sect vaguely realized that the mission that time might have been so intense. There wasn't any tangible resistance behind them. Lu Yi didn't slow down and stopped at a place 80 kilometers away from the Dingtian City. Xia Ming stood at the bow of the ship. He picked up the guard token at his waist and poured his spiritual energy into it, waiting quietly. Half an hour ago, a figure on an air transportation spiritual tool flew over from the direction of Dingtian City. When he saw Lu Yi from afar, he took a detour and flew over. When he was about 30 meters away from the sect, he cupped his fists and said, "Greetings." The person was wearing a mask, so I could see her face clearly. Her cultivation wasn't at the 4th Order Cloud River realm, but her figure was that of a woman. She was Nightingale here. "May I ask if I have any business here?" Nightingale asked, "Is there anything I can do for you?" Xia Ming looked at me blankly. "Get the spirit boat." Nightingale understood. "Please instruct me." The sect didn't instruct me. Instead, he asked, the latest update of the mission information in the hunting pavilion was 1 year later. Did he report it? Have you seen any traces of the spirit boat in the past year? Yes, I have seen it. Xia Mingxiang knew that he had committed a crime, so he fled. The sect narrowed his eyes. Does he know where I fled to? This humble one knows that if I insist on hiding, I will naturally be discovered. What about the Zhou family? The Zhou family is not normal. The sect nodded. There was no need to continue asking, so he said, "Zhou Wang." Zhou Wang took a step back and responded firmly. Watch over us. Kill anyone who doesn't do anything normal. The sect ordered. He looked at Nightingale behind him, including me. Zhou Wang accepted the order. Nightingale was stunned. You mean me? Eighth senior brother, I'll go with you. Xia Ming ignored Nightingale and told Xia Mingxiang that he would be leaving first. Then he flew towards the Dingtian city. Xia Mingxiang didn't hesitate and followed closely. After the two left, Zhou Wang looked at Nightingale behind him and said with disappointment, before this, he will go to the vast Tian city to ask for forgiveness. Although he might lose his life, some punishments will be exempted. Although you are naive and not cute at times, you are not stupid. Even though the sect had told you everything, you were still able to faintly sense something. Especially when you followed Xia Ming to catch people recently, you were able to catch them all. You are full of admiration for the sect. Since Xia Ming went straight to the Dingtian city, it means that I am sure the spirit boat is in the Dingtian city. However, Nightingale didn't see Xia Ming's whereabouts in the past year. Obviously, it is too dangerous. Hearing this, Nightingale was sweating profusely. She didn't even stagger. The Dingtian city was a very small city. After all, it was the foothold of an 8th-rank cultivation family. Naturally, its scale was huge. There were no small number of mortals living in the city. Inside the city, with the Dingtian city as the center, the Zhou family controlled the land within 1,000 miles. Although there were few mortals in the city, there were still not many cultivators flying around. Those cultivators were not all from the Zhou family. Although the Zhou family was the only family in this city, there were many low-rank cultivation families that relied on the Zhou family to survive. There were also some cultivators recruited by other families. Those cultivators were mostly rogue cultivators or those who had families to return to after the Xia Ming family was destroyed. They relied on the Zhou family to find some cultivation resources. The Dingtian city had a small defensive array, so the sect leader and Lin Yinxiu entered the city nervously. The needle of the tracing plate in their hands was shaking more and more obviously. From this, they couldn't be sure that Xiao Xinghe was somewhere in the city. Eldest junior brother. Lin Yinxiu suddenly called out. At the same time, the sect leader put away the tracing plate and looked behind him. Behind them, an old man with a goatee came over with a smile. The spirit energy fluctuations under his body showed that he was a weak 4th-order true lake realm cultivator. The old man with a goatee obviously came for the two of them. He stood straight behind them and cupped his hands slightly. Two fellow Taoists, you look unfamiliar. You don't seem to be from the Dingtian city. How should I address you? Who is he? Sect leader lowered his eyes slightly. If I said that I could only rely on Nightingale here, then I could rely on her now. Nightingale here hasn't been bribed by the Zhou family. Otherwise, how could our whereabouts be exposed? It must be Nightingale who noticed my arrival and immediately reported it to the Zhou family. The person behind us must be from the Zhou family. 7017K. Chapter 971. This old man is the external elder of the Zhou family, Zhou Zhe. The old man with a goatee said with a smile, May I know your names? Niu Meng. Zhou Zhe nodded slightly, so it's fellow Niu. I see that fellow Taoist has an extraordinary bearing and aura. May I know where you are from and where you work? Us two brothers are just rogue cultivators. Lu Yi continued to talk nonsense. Zhou Zhe's smile did not diminish. So that's how it is. Rogue cultivators of your age rarely have such cultivation. It's true that there are talents in every generation. Since you two have come to Dingtian City, can this old man do his best as a host? Lu Yi narrowed his eyes and looked at him, then glanced around unintentionally and said, I didn't know that the Zhou family was so hospitable. Around them, there were many cultivators who were paying close attention to them. Under the perception of Lu Ye's divine sense, the whereabouts of these people naturally could not be hidden. Although Xiao Xinghe's perception was not very clear, he still faintly sensed it and looked vigilant. Zhou Zhe laughed. My Zhou family has always made friends with heroes from all over the world. Fellow Taoist should know that aristocratic families are not like sects. It is not easy to establish a foothold in the 9 provinces. Lu Yi nodded slightly. In that case, I'll have to disturb you a little. Please. Zhou Zhe turned sideways and gestured with his hand. Lu Yi and Xiao Xinghe both walked with their hands on their swords, looking straight ahead as they passed by him. After a while, in a large manor in the city, the 3 figures landed. Zhou Zhe led them to a side hall, where the guests and hosts took their seats and were served tea by the servants. Zhou Zhe and Zhou Kuei were still sitting upright. Zhou Kuei was brimming with coldness as he said, "This old man is a straightforward person, so I don't beat around the bush when I speak. Today, I took the liberty to invite the 2 of you over, and I am indeed delighted to see your talents. The 2 of you are old and incompetent, so you must have a long future ahead of you. Although your Zhou family is located in a remote area, you are most fond of making friends with heroes from all sides. The 7 of you are just passing by and will leave in the future. I appreciate elders' kindness." Ding Jin said. Xiao Xinghe hurriedly agreed. "Although you are from a family, you know the hardships of rogue cultivators. If the 2 of you are willing to work for your Zhou family will naturally treat the 2 of you unfairly." As he spoke, he clapped his hands heavily. Immediately, 2 handsome and middle-aged servants came out from the door, each carrying a tray. When they arrived in front of Zhou Zhe and fellow Taoist Niu, they put down the 2 storage pouches under the trays, bowed respectfully, and turned to leave. Zhou Zhe raised his eyebrows. "Elder, what do you mean by that?" Zhou Kuei smiled. "Would the 2 of you like to take a look first?" Ding Jin picked up a storage pouch and opened it to take a look. She saw that it was full of low-grade spirit stones. There were no spirit pills for cultivation, and there was not a single magic tool-level treasure. "The Zhou family is really good, Xiaofang." Zhou Zhe put down the storage bag in his hand. "Even though I saw that there were fewer treasures, I was still shocked by the Zhou clan's wealth. There were indeed a lot of things outside the storage bag. To any true lake-stage cultivator, it was extremely attractive. The Zhou family's Xiaofang also depends on the person." Zhou Kuei stroked his beard. "The 2 of you will definitely have no future. Even if the 2 of you are willing to join the Zhou family today, it is wrong to form a good relationship. Your Zhou family is an aristocratic family, and you are well aware of the drawbacks of the family's cultivation. Naturally, you understand the principle that 1 less friend is 1 less path." "That's indeed the case." Zhou Zhe nodded. "Does Xiao Xinghe agree? It seems that Wei LV is wrong." "Wei LV?" Zhou Zhe frowned. He knew why he suddenly mentioned a familiar name at that time. "Wei LV is a disciple of your Zhou family. He is currently serving in the Law Enforcement Hall of the Military Province's Zhou Wang Division. He is the captain." Without a word, Ding Jin laughed. What was wrong with that old fellow? Why did he mention Wei LV? It turned out that he was waiting for Zhe Fang outside. He was also a member of the Law Enforcement Hall. This Wei LV was also the captain of the bag. After that, there were very few people who came to do the job. Most of them were cultivators. In addition to the Zhou family's cold hospitality, therefore, even if no law enforcement team took the mission and came over, it would be a good thing. It was his own. Chu Wuho could not send out a team, but it was not every time that he could not do anything. In the entire military province, the number of cultivators was as vast as the clouds. Among the aristocratic families, there were very few of them. Even if it was a small matter, it would be investigated by others. There were no small matters in the hunting pavilion. In the end, a Zhou family's Lu Yi was worth it. Even the nightingale here had been bribed by the Zhou family's Yen Lu. In such a situation, how could Ding Jin be punished? How could I his name? He picked up his teacup and took a sip. Zhou Zhe, using such a method to make it difficult for the soldiers who came later to do the job? Captain Long Changji, the smile on Ding Jin's face quickly disappeared. He stared at Zhou Zhe and said, "What is Xiao Xinghe talking about? Why do I understand?" It doesn't matter if he understands or not. Ding Jin took the teacup in his hand and turned to instruct Ding Jinyuan, 8th senior brother. The Zhou family intends to bribe the law enforcement team that came later. They have all been caught red-handed. Put away the things and report to the department head later. Yes. Fellow Taoist Nyo grabbed the 2 storage bags and stuffed them back into his arms. Ding Jin suddenly stood up. Xiao Xinghe, the path is under your feet. You must widen the path. Zhou Zhe also stood up and raised the guard token at his waist. The law enforcement hall is under orders. Those who dare to not stop, arrest Zhou Wang and kill him. Ding Jin had no such rule. Ding Jin was Han Hu, and I was Zhou Wang. But the law enforcement team was in the business of offending others. Lu Ye's fight with others had involved many young mortals. He viewed human lives as nothing more than grass. How could a cultivator like that condone such a thing? Since I've accepted the mission, I naturally have to complete it. Zhou Kuei obviously knew our identities a long time ago. It was only because I lied about being a rogue cultivator that he was willing to pretend to be sober. Although Zhou Zhe could still do things directly, I wasn't prepared to waste too much time outside. Since we had to end the battle quickly, there was no clear path. Looking at the guard token in Zhou Zhe's hand, Zhou Kuei's expression changed a few times. He never thought that the attitude of the person who came last time would be so weak. After that, 2 more teams from the law enforcement hall came, but they were all resolved by Ding Jin using similar methods to protect Lu Yi. No matter what, cultivators were still humans. These cultivators who came to enforce the law were giving face to the Zhou family and Ding Jin. How could Zhou Zhe know about Wei law? I've only been in the law enforcement division for a short time, and I only know these people from the unarmored 8th Brigade. Ding Jin shouted and walked inside. Walking out of the small hall, she took out the tracking disc, determined the location, and rushed straight into the depths of the Zhou family. Fellow Taoist Nyo followed closely behind. This Lu was in the depths of the manor. Nightingale might not be lying when she saw Lu Ye's whereabouts in the past year. The Zhou family also knew that Ding Jin had committed evil deeds, so they hid me inside the Zhou family. If I took the initiative to show up, Nightingale would see it. But Nightingale definitely knew Ding Jin's location. Along the way, they met many Zhou family cultivators. Those people obviously already received orders and knew what consequences it would be to brazenly obstruct the law enforcement division's people from conducting the eucalyptus gathering. They didn't make things difficult for Zhou Zhe and Ding Jinyuan, only following them from left to right. In a short while, the number of Zhou family cultivators following the 2 had decreased to nearly 100. There were even fewer Zhou family cultivators who heard the commotion and rushed over from all directions. The number of people gradually decreased. Only when they reached the back of a large courtyard, there were no more cultivators blocking their path. Zhou Zhe stopped and his chi exploded. He shouted sternly, "The law enforcement division is doing its job. Who dares to obstruct us?" The 2 of them exuded the aura of a magnificent army with thousands of men and horses. Immediately, many Zhou family cultivators revealed awkward expressions. The Zhou family naturally wouldn't care about 2 true Lake Realm cultivators, but Zhou Zhe and fellow Taoist Nyo are members of the Law Enforcement Division's Law Enforcement Hall. What we have to face now isn't just Zhou Zhe and fellow Taoist Nyo's group of 7, but the Law Enforcement Division behind them. Zhou Kuei flew through the air and landed behind Zhou Zhe and Nyo Daoyu. His expression was solemn as he said, "The 2 of you, this is your Zhou clan's forbidden area. Please do not trespass. The 2 of you are here on a mission. If your Zhou clan has any objections, you will cooperate. However, if you dare to trespass into the forbidden area, your Zhou clan will allow it." Ding Jin stared at me and said warmly, "If you want to barge in, that's fine. Hand over Ding Jin and you can take her away. Ding Jin is already in the Zhou family. You've received accurate information that Lu Yi is hiding outside." This old man said no, he said no. "Pavilion, please take out evidence. Otherwise, your Zhou family's forbidden area is not something anyone can barge in. That's the evidence." Zhou Zhe raised his hand and threw out the tracking disc hidden in his sleeve. Zhou Kuei caught it and his expression changed. He clearly recognized the tracking disc. He never thought that the Law Enforcement Division would be so extravagant in carrying out missions. They actually used a tracking disc to capture people. This was something unheard of. Scram. Ding Jin took a step forward and charged into the courtyard. Stop us. Zhou Kuei saw that Zhou Zhe was really going to barge in. He was a little angry and shouted. Immediately, no one flew out and stabbed their swords towards Zhou Zhe. Their auras were filled with panic, and the person who attacked was actually not a first-order true Lake Realm cultivator. Coward! Zhou Zhe glared and unsheathed his mountain-coiling saber. Sword and saber collided. Accompanied by a muffled groan, blood splattered. The eyes of the Zhou family's young cultivators were filled with shock. Because the one who flew out was actually a first-order true lake cultivator from the Zhou family. At that moment of astonishment, the Zhou clan cultivators froze in place. Zhou Zhe's footsteps came to a halt. One man and one saber slashed through the air. Wherever he passed, the Zhou family's cultivators behind him would dodge. Ding Jinyuan followed closely in front. The saber in her hand also slashed out rays of light, supporting Ding Jin from both sides. Surround them! Zhou Kuei shouted angrily. They could only surround them. Even if Zhou Zhe was merciless, the Zhou family still dared to injure or kill Zhou Zhe's group of 7. If they really did that, the law enforcement division would definitely settle the score. At that time, even if the Zhou family was an 8th-grade family, they would still have to bear the wrath of the law enforcement division. In an instant, all the cultivators of the Zhou family surrounded Zhou Zhe and the 7 people of Daoist Niu as soon as they went up. Ding Jin was still harshly shouting, "I'm sorry to offend the two of you. This is your Zhou clan's forbidden area. You can indeed trespass. Your Zhou clan will naturally give the law department an explanation for today's matter. Please quickly enter." Chapter 972. Zhou Zhe's words were polite, but his attitude was extremely firm. He obviously knew that he couldn't let Lu Yi take Zhou Wang away today. Once Zhou Wang fell into Lu Ye's hands, he might not die today, but he would definitely die in the future. In the middle of the encirclement of the Zhou family cultivators, Lu Yi and Xiao Xinghe's saber light crisscrossed, but they were still unable to break through the encirclement of the Zhou family cultivators. The situation was tense. Although the two of them had the ability to fight above their realm, it was difficult for 2 fists to fight against 4 hands. There were too many Zhou family cultivators. If they really wanted to surround them, the two of them wouldn't be able to resolve it. Fortunately, these people knew their limits and didn't dare to take the initiative to attack. They could only defend passively. Lu Ye's attacks were fierce, and now that he was a 5th-order true Lake Realm cultivator, the Zhou family cultivators who were fighting with him didn't notice, and some of them were injured. He didn't panic at all. With his identity as a disciple of the Blue Blood sect, it was impossible for him to make such a big fuss, nor did he have the ability to do so. In any case, the Zhou family was a 3rd-grade cultivation family. Not just anyone could barge in. However, he was now a member of the Law Division's Law Enforcement Hall. Behind him stood the entire Law Division of the Army State Guard. This was the reason why he had the confidence to barge into the Zhou family today. Xiao Xinghe didn't know what Lu Yi was planning to do, but after getting along with him recently, he understood that his junior brother never did useless things. His actions were often planned before taking action. Therefore, although the situation was temporarily unfavorable to them, Xiao Xinghe was still calm. "I vaguely feel that my junior brother must not have made a move yet. Moreover, even if junior brother didn't make a move today, the two of us would at least leave the Zhou family in disgrace. Our lives wouldn't be in any danger." Zhou Zhe indeed hadn't made a move yet. When he was fighting with the Zhou family cultivators, he had been focusing on sensing the movements in the courtyard. If he dared to use his divine sense, the Zhou family definitely didn't have a little cultivator like Li Xingguang. If he rashly used his divine sense, it was very likely that Lin Yinxiu wouldn't notice. Until a certain moment, surrounded by the crowd, Zhou Zhe suddenly turned his head and looked in a certain direction. Above the layers of figures, he vaguely saw no one rushing out of the courtyard and slowly flying inside. Lu Yi, who was hiding outside the courtyard, could not sit still. Or perhaps he had received some instructions and was preparing to move. Zhou Zhe gave the tracking disc to Zhou Wang just now. As long as I changed my location, Li Xing wouldn't be able to find me even if he didn't have the tracking disc. Lu Yi had a good plan, but Li Xing was not waiting for this moment. There weren't many true lake stage cultivators in the courtyard. Li Xing had seen Lu Yi before, and I ran out of my own accord. Zhou Zhe really knew who was who. Even if they retreated into the courtyard, they might not succeed. I jumped out myself, which saved Zhou Zhe a lot of trouble. When Zhou Zhe waved his long saber, his aura burst out. All of a sudden, the young cultivators of the Zhou clan faintly had the illusion that there was a crescent moon hanging low in front of Zhou Zhe. The expressions of those who were not sensitive immediately changed, saber intent. There was no crescent moon at all. This was just the effect of pure saber intent on one's body. An extremely powerful aura spread out from Zhou Zhe's body. Even the spirit ocean stage cultivators who were fighting side by side with me felt their skin tighten. Although I had interacted with Zhou Zhe for a while and had seen him fight, I had never seen Li Xing's full power. In that instant, the feeling Zhou Zhe gave me became completely familiar and aggressive. This kind of aggression targeted not only one's aura, but also one's soul. It made those who didn't face me feel like a rabbit meeting a tiger. This kind of aggression and deterrence had very little effect in a fierce battle. The long saber slashed upward. Under the low-hanging crescent moon, the moonlight was like water flowing vertically. Every ray of moonlight was like a waterfall of saber light. Tyrant Saber's 7th style, Crescent Moon. Big Heart. Without seeing the opportunity, I cried out in alarm and hurriedly protected myself. Chi sounds were endless. The young cultivators of the Zhou clan gathered around Zhou Zhe were thrown off their feet, blood splattering everywhere. We dared to deal heavy blows to Li Xing and the spirit ocean stage cultivators, but Zhou Zhe didn't have the slightest scruple. Just now, when he said, "Those who dare to obstruct me will be killed and pardoned," he had shouted it carefully. If there were too few cultivators of the Zhou clan to block my and Li Xingguang's attacks, there would be casualties everywhere. It must be said that the tyrannical first style, Stars, was suitable for one-on-one fights, while the 7th style, Crescent Moon, was suitable for one-on-one fights. Above the crescent moon, a flaw finally appeared in the tight formation. Although the cultivators of the Zhou clan hadn't rushed over at their fastest speed to fix it, Zhou Zhe's entire body hadn't been wrapped in the fiery red spirit power. This spirit power twisted and rolled around me, turning into a dense yin-yang 7 elements that intertwined with each other. It made me look like I was wrapped in a burning egg. When the eggshell was complete, a cry resounded throughout Dingtian City. The huge fire phoenix flapped its wings and rushed out of the encirclement before the group of Zhou clan cultivators could react. It rushed in the direction of Lu Ye's escape. Sensing the movement in front of him, Lu Yi turned his head to look. What entered his eyes was the blazing figure of a beautiful fire phoenix. His face turned pale with fright as he hurriedly took out his imperial equipment and slashed at the fire phoenix. The fire phoenix dodged, allowing the imperial equipment to slash back. The flames in its body roiled, and its aura became increasingly fierce. The distance between us quickly closed. In the blink of an eye, the fire phoenix's phantom covered Lu Ye's location, and he let out a miserable howl. The young cultivators of the Zhou clan who had just recovered their wits all froze, dumbstruck at the scene. The burning flames suddenly dissipated, revealing 2 figures. At this moment, Li Xing grabbed Lu Ye's arm with one hand and held a saber to Lu Ye's neck with the other. His gaze was focused on a certain spot in the Zhou clan's manner. Just now, when I was about to succeed, I felt a trace of Lin Yinxiu's aura. The other party didn't seem to have any intention of attacking, but I was too slow, which caused the other party to restrain themselves. Lin Yinxiu's small cultivator aura flashed past. Zhou Zhe quietly looked in that direction for a moment before retracting his gaze. Looking at the figure he had captured and burned beyond recognition, he asked in a deep voice, "What are you shouting for?" The fire phoenix's aura was extremely weak, and Zhou Zhe was now a true Lake Realm 7th Order cultivator. The person I captured was only at true Lake Stage 7th Order, so even though Zhou Zhe had slowly dispersed the fire phoenix, The other party was still badly burned. At this moment, his clothes were scorched and stuck to his bloody skin, twitching in pain. I gritted my teeth and answered, but my eyes looked pleadingly in the direction Jose had been staring at. I was obviously waiting for Lin Yinxiu to save me. Someone can save him. Jose said casually. This Li Xingguang had the ability to help just now, so he would definitely do it now. My little Gao valued Lu Yi, otherwise he would have hidden him even though he knew that I had committed a crime. But now that he had fallen into Li Xing's hands, I would definitely intervene. Even if I killed Jose and the other Spirit Sea Realm cultivators outside, the Law Division would not let this matter go. The Zhou clan was in the wrong, but in front of the entire Law Division, they were still in the upper echelons. In a lower position, what I had to consider was not a moment of glory, a person's life, but the future of the entire clan. This person is not Lu Yi, fellow Niu has the wrong person. Zhou Wang shouted, his face sullen. One you would have thought that with so few people in the Zhou clan, there would be someone who could stop Jose. Who would have thought that a true Lake Realm 7th Order cultivator would be able to display such weak strength, and not to mention such earth-shattering explosive power? Whether it was the Crescent Moon or the Fire Phoenix, they were all methods that an abnormal cultivator could use. Of course, the most important thing was that we did not have any misgivings and dared to do anything to Li Xing and the 7 Spirit Sea Realm cultivators, which gave Li Xing an opportunity. If it was a life-or-death battle just now, Jose might be able to protect himself, but the Spirit Sea Realm cultivators would definitely die on the spot. No, you have the wrong person. Bring him back to the Law Division and we will know. Li Xing was too lazy to care about me. I knew Lu Yi, but no one knew Lu Yi. Ying was still with Xiao Xinghe, so he called out to the Spirit Sea Realm cultivators, 8th senior brother, leave. Li Xingguang nodded silently and soared into the sky. Who dares to leave? Zhou Wang shouted, leading a group of Zhou clan cultivators to gather again. Jose ignored me, but he looked at the Zhou clan's Lin Yinxiu and said, Sir, you should know the Law Division's way of doing things. If the Zhou clan still insists on obstructing you, you can't just take him away. Taking his life is the same. As he said that, the mountain plate saber in his hand moved slightly. Lu Yi let out a muffled groan as blood began to flow from his neck. Suddenly, there was no surge of divine sense. The others could sense it, but Li Xing sensed it clearly. After a while, Zhou Wang put away his weak attitude and cupped his fists. Fellow Taoist Niu, you misunderstood. The Zhou clan doesn't insist on obstructing you, but my injuries are light. Would you allow the Zhou clan's medical cultivators to treat my injuries first? Obviously, he had received Li Xingguang's secret instructions. The other party also understood that things had developed to this extent. If Lu Yi came back and continued to cause trouble, the Zhou clan wouldn't benefit at all. Jose glanced at Li Xing and snorted, those injuries are enough to kill him. Lu Ye's injuries looked terrible, but I was a true Lake Realm cultivator. How could I die like that? He changed the topic. Yes, since the elder has spoken, we still have to give face. 80 miles to the west of the city, the Zhou clan can send medical cultivators. You only have to wait for the time it takes to burn a stick of incense. After saying that, he turned and left. The Spirit Sea Realm cultivators followed closely behind. Just as they flew out of the Zhou clan's manor, they saw a figure in the distance rushing over aggressively. It was Xiao Xinghe. Li Xing was a little surprised. Well, you told him to wait here. Why did he come over? Li Xingguang said, you saw that there was no movement over there, so you guessed that they were fighting and wanted to help. Is the fight over? It's over. Did we win? Xiao Xinghe glanced at Lu Yi in Jose's hand and exclaimed, Captain is so strong. Chapter 973. Where are those people? Lu Yi asked. Lin Yinxiu was responsible for guarding the people who were captured before. Now that she didn't guard the prisoners properly and ran over, wouldn't there be no one guarding over there? Lin Yinxiu smiled confidently. Don't worry, Nightingale is watching over there. They can't run away. The three hurriedly turned back. When they arrived, Lu Yi realized where Lin Yinxiu's confidence came from. On the spirit boat, the 5 of them were bound by her net-like treasure and were surrounded by explosive fire spirit stones. Nightingale's forehead was covered in cold sweat as she held an explosive talisman and stared at them vigilantly. She looked like she would activate the explosive talisman at any time if anyone dared to move and send them on their way. In such a situation, who dared to run around? They all stayed where they were and didn't move. Although Nightingale was bribed by the Zhou clan and didn't pass on the information, he was still a member of the Law Division. His actions were exposed by Lu Yi, and now was a chance to redeem himself. Since Lin Yinxiu gave him this opportunity, Nightingale naturally seized it. Seeing Lu Yi and the others return, Nightingale was relieved. Lin Yinxiu stepped forward and put away the explosive fire spirit stones and her big net treasure. Lu Yi threw Zhou Wang onto the spirit boat and waited quietly. The Zhou clan's efficiency was very high. Not long after they returned, Zhou Zhe rushed over with a medical cultivator. The medical cultivator examined Zhou Wang's injuries, and Zhou Zhe came to Lu Ye's side and cupped his hands. Fellow Taoist Niu, today's matter is my Zhou clan's fault. I'm sorry, but I hope that fellow Taoist Niu can understand the Zhou clan's intention to protect the disciples of the clan. I can understand, Lu Yi replied indifferently. I also hope that the Zhou clan can understand our difficult work. The people had already been captured. Although the process wasn't very pleasant, the other party had already lowered their attitude, so there was no need to be unforgiving. This time, he had come here to complete his mission. Zhou Zhe couldn't help but nod. This old man understands. He looked around and said in a low voice, "This old man has a request, and I hope that fellow Taoist will agree." Let's hear it. The things that the Zhou clan gave to the 2 fellow Taoists today, please don't report it. Otherwise, it won't be good for you or my Zhou clan. What is it? Bribing a member of the law enforcement hall in private was indeed not beneficial to the Zhou clan if word got out. However, it was also not beneficial to those law enforcement hall members who had come to carry out missions previously. If they really wanted to investigate, the law enforcement hall team that came to the Zhou family to carry out a mission would definitely be implicated. Lu Yi was now working in the law department, and his job was to offend people. However, he didn't want to needlessly offend his colleagues, so he didn't intend to report this matter. Besides, how could Qian Wudong not know about this? Perhaps he had known all along and was just turning a blind eye to it. Since the division head was already like this, why should he meddle? Hearing Lu Ye's words, Zhou Zhe stroked his beard and smiled faintly. This old man remembered wrongly. Please don't blame me, fellow Taoist Niu. As they spoke, the medical cultivator had already treated Zhou Wang's injuries. His injuries only looked miserable, but they were not serious. Naturally, it was not difficult to treat them. Fellow Taoist Niu, please do your best to take care of this good-for-nothing disciple of my Zhou clan during your trip to Vast Sky City. I'm only responsible for bringing him back to Vast Sky City. As long as he doesn't do anything unnecessary, I won't do anything to him. Don't worry, fellow Taoist. Lu Yi nodded and turned to look at Nightingale, who was waiting to be punished. His face darkened. You can go to Vast Sky City to receive your punishment. Nightingale felt as if she had been pardoned. She took out her flying spiritual artifact and hurried away. Judging from the direction she was heading, she was indeed heading to Vast Sky City. Goodbye. Lu Yi turned around and cupped his hands at Zhou Zhe before stepping onto the spiritual artifact. After a short while, the spiritual artifact soared into the sky and turned into a beam of light, quickly disappearing into the distance. Zhou Zhe watched as the spiritual artifact left. He turned around and flew toward Dingtian City. Soon, he returned to the Zhou clan's manor and met the current patriarch of the Zhou clan, Zhou Dingtian, in a forbidden area. The name of Dingtian City was also derived from him. The forbidden area was where Lu Yi had sensed the presence of a divine ocean realm cultivator. It was also the place where Zhou Dingtian cultivated. Patriarch, they are gone, Zhou Zhe reported. Zhou Dingnan sighed slightly. There will be such a day. Patriarch, if you don't want to let them go, why did you let them go? What else can I do? Force them to stay? Zhou Dingtian shook his head slowly. If they were just two ordinary true Lake Realm cultivators, I wouldn't care about them. However, they have the law department behind them. You shouldn't have bothered them. If I did something, things would only get worse. Besides, if I'm not mistaken, that kid with the surname of Niu should be the rising star of the Jade Blood Sect. Jade Blood Sect? Zhou Zhe was a bit surprised, but he soon realized, you mean Lu Ye? How so? Zhou Dingtan said, the four sacred beasts. Lu Ye of the Jade Blood Sect had been in the limelight in recent years. He had stirred up trouble in the Demon's Ridge in the Spiritual Stream battlefield and the Cloud River battlefield. Naturally, many people had noticed him. Zhou Dingtian had noticed him before. When the Fire Phoenix of the four sacred beasts used its means, Zhou Dingtian was sure of Lu Ye's identity. He had received a report about Lu Ye's deeds in the hunting ground. Lu Ye had used the Fire Phoenix in the hunting ground. If Zhou Dingtian still didn't know that Niu Meng was Lu Ye, he would have lived in vain. Tang Yifeng has been revived and is now in the Elder Group. You've heard about him. If I make things difficult for Lu Ye here, I'm afraid Tang Yifeng will come to our Zhou clan tomorrow. Zhou Zhe's head was covered in cold sweat, and his expression was full of lingering fear. He was glad that because he was concerned about Lu Ye's status as a member of the Law Enforcement Hall, he had ordered the Zhou clan's cultivators to only surround him and not injure him. Otherwise, if Lu Ye was really injured and Tang Yifeng was drawn out, it would be very difficult to wrap things up. But young Master Zhou Wang, Zhou Dingtian sighed slightly, send a message to Zhou Kuei. Ask him to do his best. I don't expect to be exempted from punishment. Just make sure he doesn't die. Junior brother, is this the direction to Ao Mountain? On the spiritual boat, Xiao Xinghe checked the map and found that the spiritual boat was not flying to Haoyan City, but to Ao Mountain. It's on the way. I have something to do in the sect. I haven't seen second senior sister for a long time. Xiao Xinghe nodded. Suddenly, he remembered something and took out 2 storage bags. These things. They were the 2 storage bags that Zhou Zhe gave them before. There were many good things in them. Senior brother, you can keep them for cultivation. I don't lack cultivation resources, and neither does Inxiu. With Qian Wu as her backer, how could Lin Inxiu lack cultivation resources? That's not good. Junior brother, didn't you say? Xiao Xinghe hesitated. I was just saying. Can you really hand them over? Xiao Xinghe was speechless. Earlier, Lu Ye had forcefully charged into the Zhou clan and brazenly made a move, and he'd forcefully captured Zhou Wang right under the noses of a group of Zhou clan cultivators. It caused him to think that this junior brother of his was upright and law-abiding. He was relieved. Then I won't stand on ceremony. Xiao Xinghe laughed and put away the storage bags. Although it was on the way, it was a detour, but the general direction was right. At noon the next day, the spirit boat arrived at the boundary of Ao Mountain. After flying forward for a long time, they finally arrived at the guarding peak. The huge peak was still empty. There was not a single person in sight. Although the Jade Blood Sect had many disciples now, they had only cultivated for a short time. They were either cultivating hard in the Spirit Stream battlefield or in the Cloud River battlefield. Naturally, the main sect was quiet. Unlike other sects, whether it was the main sect or the 2 major battlefields, there were a large number of disciples coming and going. But soon, a familiar figure came into sight. It was Shui Yuan, who had noticed the movement. When she saw Lu Ye and Xiao Xinghe on the bow of the boat, Shui Yuan's face was full of smiles. The spirit boat landed, and Lu Ye jumped off. Second senior sister. Shui Yuan nodded slightly and turned her gaze to Xiao Xinghe. Xiao Xinghe took a deep breath and calmed the excitement in his heart. He grinned at Shui Yuan and said, "Second senior sister, I'm back." Shui Yuan's eyes were a little misty. She raised her hand and patted Xiao Xinghe's shoulder gently. Because of her height, she even tiptoed a little. Just when Lu Ye thought she was going to enjoy the warm scene of sister and brother, Shui Yuan's jade-like hand grabbed Xiao Xinghe's ear and twisted it fiercely. Gritting her teeth, she said, "You still know to come back. I haven't seen you for several years. I thought you died outside. Xiao Xing had tilted his head and bent his back. He bared his teeth and begged for mercy. It hurts, little junior brother, save me. Lu Yi silently took a few steps back and said decisively, I'm going to pay my respects to Master. It was best to escape first. On the spirit boat that had not been put away, Zhou Wang and the others trembled when they sensed the aura of Shui Yuan's divine sea realm cultivator. On the other hand, Lin Yinxiu was watching with a smile on her face, looking curious. On the clear heart peak, Lu Yi arrived with ease. She did not expect to only see her master's clone, Xiao Dai. Of course, Xiao Dai was her master's clone, which was equivalent to her master herself. According to her, in the process of repairing the Dragon Emperor, her master had received a lot of inspiration. After the sect master left with the Dragon Emperor, she began to meditate in seclusion. Since she was in seclusion, Lu Yi naturally did not want to disturb her. Her master also needed to be distracted by using her clone to talk to him. After listening to her teachings for a while, Lu Yi hurriedly left the Clear Heart Peak. Just as she was about to return to the Clear Heart Peak, a message suddenly came from the battlefield imprint. Lu Yi checked and found that it was Yi. When he came here just now, Yi and Hupa had separated from him and headed to the Green Bamboo Peak. The Green Bamboo Peak was Lu Ye's spiritual peak. Because she did not come back often, every time she came back, Yi would clean it up. Lu Yi, come quickly. There seems to be someone here. Who is it? Lu Yi was surprised. This was the Jade Blood Sect's main sect. The Green Bamboo Peak was his spiritual peak. Shui Yuan was also here all year round. Who could run over there? Chapter 974. Hurrying to the Green Bamboo Peak, he saw Yi standing in front of his bamboo tower and watching from afar. Hu Po also revealed his true form, crouching down and growling at the bamboo tower. Lu Yi looked over and frowned. Because there were many traces of formations outside the bamboo tower. This undoubtedly meant that there was someone inside the tower. The traces of formations were exposed. Yi must have wanted to clean up the bamboo tower, but she triggered the formation and was stopped by the formation. Something was wrong. Second senior sister was now at the Divine Ocean Realm. If someone really broke in, there was no reason for her not to notice. Since the person was living here, it meant that they had second senior sister's permission. But this was his spirit peak, his bamboo tower. Who could make second senior sister compromise like this? Just as Lu Yi was guessing, a beautiful face came into view from the window on the second floor of the bamboo tower. The person in the bamboo tower obviously noticed the commotion outside and looked over. Looking at each other, Lu Yi was extremely surprised. My lord! The person living here was none other than Nian Yuxian, who claimed to be going into seclusion for a while. Hu Per immediately transformed into the size of a cat, no longer looking as majestic as before. Instead, he looked extremely well-behaved. My lord, why are you here? Nian Yuxian looked at him and said, I'm here for seclusion and want to borrow your place. I've already told Shui Yuan. Lu Yi finally understood and quickly cupped his fists. I didn't know. Please don't blame me. I'll take my leave now. Then he called Yi and Hu Per and quickly slipped away. Since Nian Yuxian wants to go into closed-door meditation, she has to find a place that is not noisy. You are an individual cultivator. Although the war province is small, there is no place for you to stay except for Haotian City. But Great Heaven City is obviously a suitable place for you. Just as Lu Yi was guessing, a beautiful face came into view from the window on the second floor of the bamboo tower. The person in the bamboo tower obviously noticed the commotion outside and looked over. Looking at each other, Lu Yi was extremely surprised. My lord? The person living here was none other than Nian Yuxian, who claimed to be going into seclusion for a while. Hu Per immediately transformed into the size of a cat, no longer looking as majestic as before. He looked extremely well-behaved. Sir, why are you here? The Thought Moon Immortal looked at him and said, I came here to cultivate in seclusion and wanted to borrow your place. I've already informed Shui Yuan. Only then did Lu Yi understand and hurriedly cupped his fists. This lowly one did not know. Please do not blame me. this lowly one will take his leave now." After saying that, he called out to Yi and Hu Pe and quickly slipped away. Since Nian Yuxian wants to go into closed-door meditation, she has to find a place that is not noisy. You are an individual cultivator. Although the military province is small, there is no place for you to stay except for Haotian City. However, Grand Heaven City is obviously a suitable place for you. The Blue Blood sect was the best choice. Other than Shui Yuan, there are many other disciples coming and going from our sect. Furthermore, Shui Yuan is not there to look after them, so there won't be anyone coming to disturb you. But today, he was startled because of Yi and him. Speaking of which, why did the missing moon Immortal always hate living with his bamboo house? After that, it was the same at Ashen Flame Mountain Pass. The first bamboo house he built was taken over by you. Now, you are taking over the nest again. Ao Mountain is so small, but there are many spirit peaks. You just had to choose Green Bamboo Peak to cultivate in seclusion. What can I do about it? He returned to the main peak. Shui Yuan was busy in the kitchen, and Xiao Xinghe was helping him. It was obvious that Xiao Xinghe had done those trivial things before. He was busy for a while, but he was enjoying it. Shi Juanxin was nowhere to be seen. "Where's 8th senior brother?" Jade Slip asked. "He went to catch fish at Moon Lake," Shui Yuan answered casually. Shui Yuan replied casually. The disciples of the Jade Blood sect all had a special liking for the blood-red trout in Moon Lake. 7th senior brother was like this, and 8th senior brother was the same. The youth had not returned to the sect, but since it was difficult for him to come back, he naturally wanted to have a good meal. 7th senior sister, you need some resources. Jade Slip said. That trip back to Ao Mountain was really on the way. The reason why he took a detour was not because of this. The Jade Slip did not have a fixed refund for battle merits every month. As long as it was too wasteful, it would be enough for me to use. However, the amount of contribution points I needed was not small. Although I did not need much contribution points, there were always times when I needed to use them. Take the stone June that I bought from the Tianji treasury as an example. It also required contribution points. Usually, I used the Stealing Heaven secret cultivation method with the help of spirit tokens, which also required contribution points. If I wanted to earn contribution points, I just had to sell a few things outside the Tianji treasury. Back then, the Jade Slip had extorted the small sects of Myriad Devil Ridge twice at the Spirit Stream battlefield. The materials it obtained were worth tens of millions of contribution points. They were all stored in the Blue Blood sect's treasury. Now that I wanted to use them, Shui Yuan would naturally say something. After obtaining the treasury's restriction Jade Slip from Shui Yuan, Shi Jun took a detour. He was familiar with the path. The treasury was located in the middle of the main peak. He used the Jade Slip to open the restrictions and walked in. It was a small cave filled with all kinds of cultivation resources. There were no spirit tools. The Jade Slip plundered everything outside. Soon after, he left the treasury and went to the Tianji Hall. He sold the things he plundered to the Tianji treasury. His contribution points increased at a visible rate. It only stopped when it reached 1,000,000. Such a small amount of contribution points would be enough for me to use for a long time. Night fell. In the big kitchen, the 7 of them sat down and tasted Shui Yuan's cooking. Jade Slip and Lin Yinxiu toasted each other. Even Shui Yuan, who hated us junior apprentice brothers drinking, drank a few cups. Xiao Xinghe joined in. After a while, his face turned red from drinking. If he was not in the true lake stage, he would have collapsed to the ground. It was a joyous occasion. Under the leaves, Zhou Wang and the other 8 people who were captured watched from afar. Their eyes were filled with envy. When they thought of the past, they felt bitter. It was late into the night before the banquet ended and everyone went to rest. The next day at dawn, Jade Slip and the others were ready to set off. Shui Yuan urged earnestly, "Don't be a weakling when you encounter trouble. The old man is now in Vast Sky City. If no one dares to make things difficult for them, go and find me." Understood, 7th senior sister. Shi Jun and Lin Yinxiu replied together. Come back less often when you're free. Shui Yuan waved her hand. 7th senior sister, take care. Jade Slip and Shijun bowed together. After a while, Lu Yi turned into a stream of light and soared into the sky. Under the green bamboo peak, on the 7th floor of the bamboo building, Thought Moon Immortal watched quietly. Only when Shijun disappeared from her sight did she wave her hand and the 7 young array restrictions were activated. She went into seclusion again. Grand Sky City, Law Department Hall. Today was relatively idle. There were not many official matters to deal with. It was rare that he did not have such leisure days. Naturally, Qian Yudang would stay in the Law Department Hall. He got up and walked out of the door. He was prepared to go to the transmission department to talk to Fan Xiangyi and complain. I'm suffering. Ever since Inxiu left me, I often sent messages to ask about you. However, I received too little response every time. I couldn't feel at ease. I was always worried that you were bullied inside and that you met a weak opponent. When he passed by the hunting pavilion, he stopped and turned to leave. The fat old man was sleeping on the table. His snores were earth-shattering. The veins on Qian Yudang's forehead throbbed. He knocked on the table. The fat old man raised his head sleepily. Seeing that it was Qian Yudang, he was instantly angry. Disturbing someone's sleep for no reason. Has he ever done that to Shijun? Qian Yudang was so angry that he laughed. Is that how he guards the hunting pavilion? The fat old man sat up straight. I've worked hard all my life. I'm already so young. I just want to spend the rest of my life in peace. I have other pursuits. But does this little one want to reward me for neglecting my duties? Come. Quickly send this old man to the prison for a few days and enjoy some peace. Qian Yudang was angry. He was like that when he was young. Why is it that the older he gets, the more serious he becomes? He was in the mood to quarrel with me. He changed the topic. Back to business. Has Lu Ye been coming back to submit missions? The fat old man was slightly surprised. Inxiu is outside my team. How could he know about my situation? Speaking of that, Qian Yudang's heart ached. Perhaps that young man had been too strict with Inxiu. Now that you've regained your freedom, you no longer let yourself loose. Usually, you would even reply to my messages. Now, I'm the one asking you. Qian Yudang brought out the style of the law commissioner. The fat old man continued to prick my heart. He chuckled. Inxiu wants to contact him, right? I've told him long ago that this is how boys should be raised. It's a good thing to protect them too much. He just listened. Inxiu looks obedient and docile, but in reality, she's just like your mother. Qian Yudang turned around and left. The fat old man grabbed my arm. Why are you walking so slowly? Qian Yudang shouted angrily, Old thing, if you have something to say to him, let him go. I haven't finished yet. Does he want to ask about Lu Ye's situation? Qian Yudang stopped struggling. How is it? What's the situation? Have you seen me recently? Qian Yudang didn't think much of it. This doesn't mean that I can complete the next mission. The last 2 missions were completed so quickly. Was it just pure luck? I don't think so. The fat old man nodded. Qian Yudang understood. That's still abnormal. A person's luck can't always be so good. As soon as he finished speaking, he turned to look inside and saw an unfamiliar figure enter with a blade. Junior, you've come to submit the mission. Shijun walked into the hunting pavilion and was surprised. I'm here too. Qian Yudang smiled. You've completed the mission? Completed. As the Jade Scroll spoke, it gave the fat old man the mission manager for the next mission. You're wrong. Qian Yudang objected. Excluding the last 2 missions that took a few days, the last mission that took half a month was unusually efficient. He thought about it and said, there's no need to work so hard. It's better to pay less attention to your own cultivation. If your cultivation is low, it'll be even more inefficient to complete the mission. Shijun casually replied. He then said to the fat old man, where are the mission managers for the next mission manager? They're all here. The fat old man took out the mission managers. Those missions were the ones that people were interested in. Naturally, Shijun kept them. Qian Yudang frowned. He had just told the Jade Scroll to work so hard. Was Big Bro going to take another mission? You're simply treating my words like the wind. He wanted to persuade the Jade Scroll to let Yin Xiu rest less. However, the Jade Scroll passed the mission managers over and handed them back to the fat old man. Submit the mission. The fat old man looked at the Jade Scroll and the Jade Scroll looked at me. The two of them stared at each other. What do you mean? The fat old man was stunned. Didn't the juniors say that the mission targets couldn't be taken first and that the process of handing over the missions couldn't be completed? Is that okay? The fat old man came back to his senses and found it hard to believe. What he means is that he took all the targets outside. They are all waiting in the prison. Jun gave him a thumbs up and pointed forward. The fat old man turned to look at Qian Yudang. Qian Yudang was looking for information. It was a report from the prison. Sensing the fat old man's gaze, he nodded slightly with a surprised expression. After that, I thought that completing a mission in half a month was unusually efficient. But for him to have completed 8 missions in half a month, that was abnormal. How did Big Bro do it? You're tuning in to the Han Li's Immortal Journey YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.